Hey guys, Thomas with Puddle Jumper Adventures again. Just real quick, if you haven't already, please try and like and subscribe to our videos so we know that people are watching them and try and get some value out of them. And if you can, comment what you think, what more stuff you want. But we were trying to film a series of videos to show our trip from Illinois to Yellowstone. And this is part of that series. We're going to be talking about our trip from Illinois out to Nebraska, because for us to get to Yellowstone is about, I'd say about a 22-hour journey once you factor in breaks and all that stuff. And so we had to break it up over a couple different days. And so, you know, we also had some other spots that we wanted to stop at. Nebraska is full of interesting places. We've already been to Omaha, Nebraska. We went to Henry Dorley Zoo, amazing place. It's probably one of the best zoos I've ever been to. But anyways, for this trip, we headed out there. The first stop we stopped at was an Airbnb. I tell a little bit of that story in our Yellowstone video, but I'll tell it again. We stay in an Airbnb, and right there at the property is a cemetery. I'm sure my wife's gonna put the picture of that up, because it was kind of hilarious. Spooked the kids out a little bit too, 'cause you don't really stay that close to the cemetery. So then after that, our next stop was heading to Toadstool Geologic Park, because there's a campground there. And that's ran by the U.S. Forest Service, not a national park. But it's one of those campgrounds where there's no electricity, there's no water. You roll up, and if there's sites available, you pay there, or you can scan with your phone, except there's hardly any signal. So it was just pay and leave it in the thing. But along the way, from our Airbnb to that Toadstool, we made a couple different stops. The first stop we stopped at was Chimney Rock National Historic Site. Now keep in mind, we'd already been driving quite a bit, so we had the day before, and then we had today a little bit, and so we were kind of getting a little bit antsy, and so we got out. It's a huge rock that just juts up, and they used it on the Oregon Trail as one of the markers to show them where they're at. So we took some pictures. We realized that it was pretty warm that day where we were at, so we didn't actually walk up to it or go on the trails to it because it was pretty warm. And I'll be honest with you, there were some rattlesnake signs, so I'm not a big rattlesnake fan, but that's something I'm just going to have to get over anyways. So I'm just not a snake fan in general. So we walked around a little bit, spent some time there, got back in the van because, like I said, it was hot. So then we went to Scotts Bluff National Monument, because that was just down the road, probably another about 25-30 minutes. And there's all kinds of things you can do. There's the visitor center, of course, bathrooms and all that stuff. So when you pull in and you get past the entrance station, just immediately to your left, if you actually turn down that way, we didn't have time to stop by there because we had a really tight schedule, but you can actually pull up and then walk along and see some of the ruts that are left behind. We could see them from the road that we were on, but you could see ruts that are in the ground from the wagons that were being pulled during the rush to get to Oregon. So pretty cool. It also brings back memories of playing Oregon Trail for those of you that are my age. Dysentery and fording the river and all that stuff. Anyway, so then we went inside, my wife got a map and all that stuff, and we were able to figure out that our 9-foot van would fit through the tunnel just fine. So we went up the road, drove all the way up to the top of Scotts Bluff, and you can look all the way around. It was very, very beautiful. Got out, walked around, and yes, it was still hot up there too. So again, we didn't really do too much hiking. We weren't kind of prepared for it because of just the heat and stuff. So once we were done there, piled back in the van, went on down the road, and our next stop was Carhenge. Not a national park, not a national monument or anything, although it should be. But it was pretty cool. This guy just set it up in these cars in the shape of like Stonehenge over there in England. And he has all these car statues and even some like dinosaur looking things. And my wife's going to put some funny pictures up. It was great. I highly recommend stopping there. They have a pinch machine inside, so you can, you know, get a little commemorative penny that's been smashed and has car hinge on it and stuff. But I highly recommend if you're anywhere close, make the time to stop there. I think we were there for an hour and a half or so. So then our next stop that we stopped at was Toadstool Geologic Park. And I'll be honest with you, it was just a place where we can camp, set up our tent, stay the night. And we ended up going on the trails. So you leave the campground, you kind of walk through from the campground, from where we camped at, you just walk over, there's like a gate. You have to shut the gate. And then you walk through the Badlands of Nebraska is what I think one of the signs said. So, and they have these toadstool geologic formations, and we only did parts of the trail because some parts of it get very questionable, especially for kids. You know, you can climb all over it and explore and stuff like that, but there's some areas where if you fall, it's probably gonna hurt or probably kill you. So you'll probably want to definitely keep eye on your kids, especially for, you know, not letting them just run off all over the place and stuff. And then we had our campsite set up, and that night we spent the night in our tent. One thing to note is it got really windy. That wind just whips right through there, and it causes some rippling on the tent. So, but all the sites were really nice. We thoroughly enjoyed it. We still talk about it. We still say it was awesome. And then from there, once we got up, we were only about 6 hours away, 6-7 hours away from Yellowstone. So our next leg of the trip was heading to Yellowstone, and I'll make sure I put the link for that video in the notes section of this video, so that way you can go from this one to the next one. So that'll be Yellowstone and Grand Tetons, and then we're going to be having a video after that one that's going to be about going to Glacier and then coming back down to South Dakota. So until our next adventure, it's Thomas with Puddle Jumper Adventures. Thank you.